If you are spending hours creating your content, your online marketing, your Instagram, your emails, maybe blogging, you have your own podcast or you guest on podcasts, and it's not leading to any clients or sales, and it's feeling like a huge waste of your time and energy, and you are ready to just throw in the towel, this is the episode for you, because I am going to explain how to find the gap in your content marketing strategy that is preventing you from getting those clients and sales. Welcome back to From Content to Clients. This is Sydney O'Brien, and I think this is episode 138 or something like that. And I wanted to talk about a very common frustration that I am seeing and hearing online and from clients. I had several strategy calls last month where the people in different industries doing different types of work, but they were kind of experiencing the same problem in that they felt like they were putting so much time and energy into creating more and more content, but it wasn't leading to sales, and they were feeling super burnt out and super frustrated because they just felt like it was a huge waste of their time when they don't have time to waste. And so I just want to, if you're feeling that way, walk you through some things to look for in your own strategy so you can find the gap in it and fix it, basically. The very first thing I want you to do is take a deep breath, because you don't have to be posting multiple times a day or even every day or emailing every day. You can take a breather and relax, and we'll figure this out. But first thing is definitely save yourself some time here by doing a little less, committing to less on your schedule. This is even easier when we have a strategy and a plan to follow. But first things first, take a deep breath, because usually the problem isn't in your content, it's in the strategy of your content. And what I mean by that is a lot of the time we will optimize content for vanity metrics instead of actionable metrics. So we will look to creating the posts that get the most views or the most likes instead of the most discovery calls, or maybe we're spending time on the design for our newsletters instead of focusing on, those click-through ratios or, again, sales and discovery calls. And I completely understand why. And it's something I think everyone has done, and myself included, where it feels like I said, like you're spending so much time on this, and it is, if you're not seeing those numbers, it feels like a waste. And when you start seeing, high open numbers on your emails, high podcast downloads, high views or likes on your Instagram posts, it feels really good and really validating, and it makes it so it feels like that time and effort you put into it did something, right? You feel really productive after that. But if those opens and likes and comments don't turn into sales, how productive really was it? 2 of the strategy calls I had last week, people saw success from a certain type of post that they shared on Instagram and then spent time recreating it in different ways, which is great. We love repurposing. But the thing is, they were chasing the vanity metrics, and yes, they were getting more views and more likes on those posts, but it wasn't leading to anything that was helpful for their business because it was optimized for Instagram and not their business. One person, it was those kind of hot take posts, which again, people eat that up online, right? Anytime there's a hot take or any kind of drama, like, yes, of course, that's going to get engagement because we are all incredibly nosy. But a lot of the time, and what this person was seeing was that it unfortunately led to a lot of distrust within her actual ideal followers. So while it was somewhat related to their business, people didn't really see it as professional, and only talking about the negative things did not create the trust that was needed in order to continue to bring people down their buyer journey. So they actually felt comfortable investing with her. And the other person was trying to grow her account and sell something at the same time, which is totally possible, but she would share something on trial reels and it would get a lot of likes, but no follows, no sales. But because it got a lot of likes, she kept repurposing that content over and over, doing the same thing, trying to get those likes to turn into follows and sales, which it makes sense. Like you see the likes, something good is going on there for it to get that attention, but it's not the thing you want. So while she was feeling productive and successful because she was sharing these trial reels that were getting, tens of thousands of views, thousands of likes, and that was really great, continuing to do the same thing and share that same kind of content without optimizing for the actual goal in mind, which would be, again, the followers and sales, that ends up being the real time waste, unfortunately. And I know none of you have any time to waste. So let's talk about the things to look into before we create that next piece of content. And the very first thing would be knowing the goal of each. Is this piece of content, warming up your audience? Is it meant to nurture? Is it meant to build trust? Is it meant to get engagement and start conversation? Is it meant to just sell something, whether it's a lead magnet or an actual paid offer? What is the goal of that piece of content? And then I would look at your past posts and see your past content and see if there is a logical path for your ideal client to follow. Are we taking them step by step through the buyer journey, or are we just throwing random things out there and hoping that it sticks? And the third thing I think is most often overlooked as part of a content strategy, because it doesn't feel like it would be, is conversations. Are people talking to you? Are you talking to them? We know right now people are spending less money, they're buying less, and buyer behavior has seriously changed. The one thing that has made a huge difference for me and the people that I work with is having conversations with their followers, with the people on their email list, with their podcast listeners. Having those one-on-one conversations makes a huge difference when it comes to actual conversions. And not only conversions, it helps you understand your audience better so you can, help them with whatever service you're providing, as well as gives you an insight into how you should be messaging and positioning and, marketing your offers. So it is the obvious solution for the people that need your help the most. Those are the top 3 things that I see as gaps in people's content marketing strategy. And once you are able to identify that gap and close it, you spend a lot less time on marketing in general, which is always nice because I know you have other things you would rather be doing. And because you have that plan in place, you know what you need to be posting. You're not just guessing and throwing things out there and seeing what sticks. You are optimizing for the right things instead of, trying to appease the algorithm gods. And you don't have to create as much content when you have that strategy set in place and you're having those conversations. I last month booked like a record number of these strategy calls and posted a handful of times. And the podcast, it goes out once every 2 weeks. It's not weekly anymore. And my email list is also maybe once a week. So I'm not creating a ton of content here, but I am having conversations with people. When I do share content, it has the strategy behind it. And the people that I've put together these action plans for after their strategy calls, one person was a brand new account who was looking to find her followers, ideal followers. And within a couple weeks, she had over 500. After the first few weeks, she was up to somewhere around 300 followers. And now almost 6 weeks later, I think she's at 500, which is great. One of the other people who got their action plan was able to spend a lot less time creating content because she was posting on Instagram alone several times a day. So we identified the gap in her strategy, gave her a content plan that was much more doable for her and her schedule. And she was selling a low ticket like digital product, but she saw an increase of sales of a couple $100s in just the first couple weeks. So you do not have to be doing all of the things all of the time, feeling like you're wasting all of your time. Just think about investigating where that gap is, looking at the purpose of your post, looking at the overarching strategy of your content, and focusing on having conversations with people. And if it's not one of those three things, if you think there's something else going on or you're still not sure why, you can book your own strategy call and get your own personalized action plan at the link in the show notes. We can figure it out together so you can stop feeling like you are wasting so much time and energy on something that isn't getting the results that you want. On the strategy call, we talk about your current strategy, what's working, what's not working, identify some gaps, and then I put together a whole custom action plan for you to follow to make sure that your strategy is doing the thing it's meant to be doing and getting you those clients and sales. So if that's something you are interested in, go ahead and head to the show notes for that link. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back in your earbuds in about 2 weeks. Thanks for hanging out with me on From Content to Clients. If this episode helped you think differently about your content, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's next. And if you're ready for content that's more strategic and less throw it together and hope for the best, head to sydneyobrien.com to learn more about working with me.